I'm Nicole Papiano from Your Instructional Designer, and this is Learning Pro Intros. Today we're here with the wonderful Kassy LaBorie. Kassy, can you tell me a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Sure, and thank you for having me. My name's Kassy, and I get to do virtual training every day. I help learning organizations, teams, individuals figure out how to do virtual instructor-led classroom training. So that's trainers, designers, producers, and leaders with the development of the strategy of the virtual training as well.
That's really cool. And you own your own consulting company, am I correct?
I do. It'll be 3 years in June. I work for just me. I have worked for companies before, and it's been wonderful. All paths led to working for just me. And I get to work with these teams all over the world today, just helping them figure that out. But I used to work for Dale Carnegie. I also used to work for WebEx, and just done different things throughout my career that all led here. It's fun.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching, we're actually taping during the whole COVID outbreak. So Kassy's services are super needed and super relevant right now. I'm wondering, how did you get into this virtual training consulting role? Because I'm guessing you didn't grow up thinking, when I grow up, I want to teach people how to use
I know.
virtual tools.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely not a path that could have ever been seen ahead of time. But actually, it's because of RuPaul that I do what I
Oh,
do. Is that interesting?
yes.
Okay. I used to live in San Francisco. I now live in Western New York in Rochester. But when I was at university, I was in San Francisco at San Francisco State. And I decided I wanted to work in learning and development as I was getting my speech and communication degree. And so I became a trainer at a company called ExecuTrain as soon as I graduated college. And I was teaching Microsoft products through that
Hmm.
company. And that's how I started. So I was a tech trainer to begin with. And then I was driving down the 101 towards San Jose from San Francisco. And there was a billboard with RuPaul, and it said, meetings used to be a real drag. What company is that? And there was like a blue and green boa and a beach ball. Google it. You will see WebEx Cisco, or not Cisco, WebEx RuPaul, and you'll see the ad campaign. It was amazing. So I ended up getting an interview at WebEx, and my very first job was as a product trainer for WebEx in the late 90s. And I was teaching people, new clients, how to use WebEx, share this, share that, click here, click there. And then they would say, okay, Kassy, we get it, but how do we be like you, where you make it so we actually want to listen and we really just learned? And so after 6 years of being a product trainer and that question over and over again, I decided to break away and work for myself and teach people how to do just that, no matter what technology they're using. And so from there, I started contracting with various companies and just teaching them whether they were using, at the time, a live meeting was a product, Microsoft's product, which is now, moved into Teams. And I would just teach them whatever. The first client that I had was using the live meeting product. And so I taught them how to use it and be great at it and do the design for it. And then from there, it just ballooned into a whole bunch more stuff. And teaching people the bigger thing, the strategy of how do you train in a virtual environment, no matter what technology you're using, which is what led me to Dale Carnegie, and I built that team there. And then I ended up just coming back to work for myself after that, because the question is always the same. How do I do what you're doing, no matter what it is that I was teaching? So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. I get to work with all kinds of clients. Like one day I might be working with insurance, the next day it's scientists, and then the next day it's sales. And so what people are teaching is never what I'm teaching. I'm working with all industries and all different kinds of people every day, because the topic is how do they do the training that they're doing, and I love that. So it's
That's
exciting.
amazing. Yeah, it sounds like such a cool, interesting place to be. I mean, you're exactly right. So you're working with these subject matter experts, but you're the training expert. You're teaching them how to bring their stuff to life. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I love it actually. It's like I feel like I get to be like a person who gives out gifts every day.
Oh,
Because people get a little overwhelmed with having to do this. It's one
definitely.
thing to get on a call and to talk with somebody, but it's entirely another to have materials to share and learning objectives to go through. And especially when you get into tech training, it gets a little challenging. And so people, a lot of times by the time they find me or have decided to hire me, they're a bit bummed out because it's been hard. It's been not working. And so then I just get it and go, hold on, you're going to be okay. I'm going to help you do what you love to do. I promise it will be all right.
Do you have a favorite project that you've ever done?
Oh gosh, I have so many different projects that I love. That's interesting that you ask. I had the amazing and great honor, and I still get to work with an organization that's called NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and I help them figure out how to do virtual training and then convert one of their primary products that they serve. And the reason it's special to me, without getting into so many details, is that most of the clients I work with are in corporate learning. Some are in the education side, but primarily it's corporate learning. And NAMI is about real people and helping people learn how to be surviving their lives in different ways based on different things that have happened. And so it's like, instead of leadership or communication being the topic, it's the topic of how do I live my life with my new world. And that's really important stuff. So I have to say that it always pops up as one of my favorites because of how important the work is that that organization does. And the fact that I got to be there and be part of it with them is amazing to me.
Sounds like you've had a really big impact. Also, through training, you can help others create an impact.
Yeah, I know another thing that's real special to me is I wrote a book in 2015, and one of the chapters is devoted entirely to celebrations and parties. And I've done more than one, like baby shower, retirement party, birthday, holiday. But one baby shower in particular stands out to me because the person that we surprised online with the baby shower. I've been working with her for several years, but I'd never met her actually in person. It was only ever online. She went out on maternity leave, and just before she went, we surprised her with a virtual baby shower. And that was really fun, and she cried. And then, fast forward, after maternity leave, the baby was about a year old, and we were at a conference together, and I saw her and met her for the first time in person. And she ran up to me and started crying and hugged me, and she's
Oh,
like, I've known you forever. And it actually technically was the first time we met in person, but it in no way felt like that. And to this day, she'll still say that that was her favorite baby shower of all the ones she had.
I actually have chills.
Yeah,
That's such
it
a
was pretty
beautiful
wonderful.
story.
Yeah, those are the important things, right? It's like, I very much believe if we can just be who we are, and connect in ways that we are comfortable for the setting and as it's appropriate, we can do that online too. If we can figure out how to do that here and just feel good about it, those are the important things.
I don't know if you said the book title, but is it still for
Oh,
sale and does it have a title?
yeah, thank you for asking. It is, it's available from ATD or on Amazon. It's called Interact and Engage. And
Awesome.
there's over 50 activities. It was always my vision that it was like a recipe book where you could pull it off the shelf and be like, oh, I've got a training. What kind of icebreaker can I, and you can flip through it to the icebreaker chapter or the closer chapter. But we did that. I actually co-authored it with my husband, and we did that in 2015. And we are going to be writing the second edition next year. So that's exciting.
Stay tuned. I'm excited. I want to go pick it up right now.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun.
So, if there was one thing you could advise people who are either new to the learning industry or considering, making a switch, what would that be?
I think that what has worked for me and what I, ultimately like to share with people is just to find what you love to do. I mean, I know that sounds kind of cliche, but being who you are and finding the parts that you love, and meeting a lot of people and connecting with them and seeing how they're doing it. Like if you see someone doing something and you feel that pang of I wish, or there's like this slight jealous thing or something, figure out what it is that's making you feel that way and actually connect with that person on LinkedIn and say, I love what you do, teach me. And then learn what they do and how they do it. And I have found the people who work in learning and development to be so open. And if you just reach out and connect, we teach people. And so I always want to be like, let me show you how to do it and what happened to me. And I always want to do that. It is in my nature. And so just connect and find out what it is that's making you be drawn to them. And then maybe that's something about what is going to make you happy too.
That's great advice. Also, I find it's funny you say that. Every Learning Pro intro has been very different in terms of what
Oh,
people
okay.
bring to the table and even the advice they give. But almost everybody has said the same thing. The learning industry is like a really nice place of really giving, happy, wonderful people. And
It's
I
true. I
have,
mean, like you reached out to me and I was like, I would be
yeah,
more than honored to be talking to you today. And now we'll be connected and we'll remember.
definitely.
And I love that. And I think that most of us are that way.
I
Yeah.
agree. So we're wrapping up here. Is there anything else you would want to say before I let you go?
Just have fun with these tools. I know that they can be overwhelming, and if you are thinking about being a virtual trainer and you're kind of worried about it, just log in, click on everything, try to break it. And a big tip for me, a huge tip on learning how to manage a virtual training, virtual meeting, is to have a second computer logged in as an attendee, because then you can see what it looks like for the attendees. And I have 3 computers on my desk right now, but I always have the second one logged in, and I look over when an attendee says to me, "Where should I click, Kassy?" I go like this immediately, and I look over and I look at it, and then I go, "It's in the bottom left corner, John." you know, and it just makes me feel so much better about what I'm doing. So I promise it will change for you if you can get a second computer logged in as an attendee that you can view at the same time you're teaching.
Awesome. Yeah. We'll
Mhm.
look for those second and third computers then.
Third's an extra. It's a second. And even if it's just like an iPad or like, honestly, my second computer is like 2007 or something. It's old.
but,
So
but it gets the job
yeah,
done. All right.
that's
Well,
right.
thank you so much for joining me today, Kassy. I learned a lot personally, and I'm sure the folks at home learned a lot too. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me so much, Nicole. It's been a pleasure.
Of course. Well, if you want to learn more about Kassy, you can also read the description box below, and it will have some of her information down there. And until next time, bye-bye.